podcast. I'm your host Nisha, and this is a space where we explore the inner world that shapes how we live, how we work, and how we show up in our lives. Today's conversation is a really important one, particularly for anyone who's working within an organisation, whether it's a small business or a big corporate entity, and is also interested in the future of workplace wellbeing. I'm joined today by Jo of Calerae, who's the founder and who works within the corporate wellness space, supporting organisations to think more intentionally about the well-being of their teams. Together, we're going to explore the current landscape of mental health in the workplace, what's working, what isn't, and many of the approaches that we still see today that feel very tick box exercisey. We'll also be looking at what real, meaningful and sustainable mental health support in the workplace actually looks like, why it matters not just for employers and employees, but for the success of the organisations themselves, and how companies can begin moving beyond surface level wellbeing initiatives towards something that genuinely supports people at the heart of their business. Jo, one of the biggest misconceptions around workplace mental health is that an individual issue is one for the employee to manage themselves, but it's not, is it?
No, absolutely not. It does continue to be pushed back on people. But what I find from my own personal experience and talking extensively to others is that actually our well-being, because everyone's focused on that at the moment, isn't it? But our well-being it's simply that's what comes out of the structure that we live in. So it's about the structures and the foundations and the rhythm and flow and processes and all that stuff that we do every day that shows in our well-being. It's not that comes out, the well-being's at the top and then we can fix it once it comes out. It's kind of a misconception completely.
Yeah, so maybe, like you say, it's structural. Things like unclear work expectations, chronic overload, pressure, the lack of psychological safety. Because you can't meditate your way out of a toxic workload, can you?
You absolutely can't. And my own personal experience of burnout in the workplace was that I was in a place where the workload was too high, my health was suffering, I already had a known issue with ME, and I'd flagged that at work. I needed some changes to happen, and instead you get, the workplace doesn't change, it's kind of a fixed immovable object, and you get sent off to occupational health who try to fix you and then dispatch you back into the exact same environment that caused the issues in the first place. It doesn't work.
And is that why you started Calerae?
Yeah, it took a while to get here. Absolutely. There's a long road back of recovery because I did properly burn out and a huge ME relapse. But yeah, when you come out the other side, you start questioning, so what happened? Actually, you know, an 80s girl, we were told we could have everything, and I went after everything in its fullest. The job, and then eventually married, and we had the kids, and we were told we could have it all as long as you just made it all work. And then it didn't work. And having eventually come out of that, it's a me problem and the guilt that goes with a burnout. You come out the other side and realise actually that's not the case at all.
Right, because it sounds from what you said, it's quite pervasive as well. It's not just I'm not good at my job, but it can also affect a person's sense of self, their esteem, their confidence, their worth. Because we live in a world where your work is everything, your job is everything, or it should be.
Do you know, I go one step further. I lost part of my identity.
Wow.
I literally, who was I without that job? I'd been 25 years working corporately, and everyone asks you, don't they, oh, what do you do? You go, oh, actually, I nothing at the moment. I'm just recovering. You know, that's not a good place to be when you've been, you know, I'm international manager at JLR and I do this and I do that. To go to, my identity went
just straight.
I was someone's mum. That was pretty much it for a while.
Which should be, in and of itself,
great.
Incredible, right?
Which is great, All mums end up with no name and just being so-and-so's mum. That's fine, but I didn't have the other side of that anymore.
And I can identify with what you say, it becomes a title. I remember when I worked in law and I'm Nisha the lawyer.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
It carried so much more weight than I'm a woman who trusts herself, is confident, I want to enjoy my life. None of that matters. What you do is who you are.
Yes.
And it's this shame that we live in a world where we should just be who we are. And now people ask me, I say, I'm Nisha. Oh, what do you do? I'm like, well, I do lots of things, right? But it's not, my job is not my identity anymore. And I wonder if you feel the same.
It's far more now, isn't it? My job is now a passion, which is not an identity.
No.
It kind of comes from deep in here, doesn't it? The passion. So, it has changed, but it is. You still get asked, don't you? It's still, hi, what's your name? What do you do? Literally, they fall in that rhythm, don't they? We still hold a lot of credence by the job that people do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because these mental health initiatives that we see in corporate structures, and again, when I say corporate, I can also mean small business, any kind of company, they're very reactive.
Yes.
Right, rather than proactive, where employees are expected to cope until, like with your situation, you reach that point of burnout, you cannot go on, and then they step in.
Yes. So you find that occupational health and mental health, all of that lovely stuff, is a reactive thing to the problem that's been solved. Where I've pitched my work now is actually the proactive part of creating work design that means that human capacity is designed into it. So from the best way that I could describe it to corporates is that you already know how to do this, guys, because go and talk to your systems guys. I can guarantee you that we know how to design capacity, because every IT system in there is designed beautifully, and they don't expect it to work over the processing speed. They don't expect it to work without the beautiful conditioned environments that keep it at the right temperature. They don't expect it to work without maintenance windows, without downtime, without upgrades. And then we turn to the workforce and there's nothing there. Nothing there to look after the capacity. It's simply the outputs they're looking for. They're not looking for any of the inputs.
So when you talk about capacity, because I talk about capacity building in my work, but more of the capacity to build, to be with yourself, be present with yourself, your emotions. Is yours similar to that or different?
It's kind of similar. So sustainable human capacity is what I say I do, and everyone has no idea what that means, and that's absolutely fine. Human capacity, the way that I've come up with it and the diagnostic lens that I use now, it's 3 things. And that probably sounds far too simplistic, but that's where my brain goes.
But as humans, we overcomplicate things. So simple is good. Right? We need simple.
No, I first looked for a good wellbeing model when I started out and couldn't find one that wasn't 9 long, and then it went into detail. So simply, if you look after your body, this amazing thing we've all been given to take us through our lives, if you have a good outlook on life, and if you have really good connections, that takes care of your capacity. That is it. It is as simple as that.
Amazing. What does that look like then when you deliver workshops or work one-to-one?
So it always starts with removing the guilt. Like I said, felt very guilty for burning out, not being able to cope. It's always seen, as you said, it's a personal trait. It's like a personality trait, that inability to cope. It's absolutely not. So it's always the starting off with understanding how we've got here. So actually it's only taken 2 generations, which is kind of scary. 2 generations to undermine the foundations of everything that supports our well-being. So 2 generations ago, I look at my grandparents. They had a rhythm and a flow to life. They had that connection around. Their social life was incredible. Materialistically, can I just point out, nothing, because coming out of a war, materialistic things weren't a big deal. But they had the connectivity. Their outlook was incredibly strong. Work was something they did for 8 hours a day. I can't say that what they had was jobs that gave them a great feeling of fulfillment. My granddad worked down the mines, and then he worked in a factory, did whatever he needed to, but it was a very contained space during his week that he went and he did his work, and there were structured breaks in it, and then he came home. This revolutionary concept of coming home from work, and work was left in the workplace and never thought of again. So their outlook was amazing, their connection was good, and they naturally looked after their body because we didn't have all these amazing labour saving devices, and things didn't get delivered to the door.
Really nice way of putting it, labour saving.
Well, it's meant to free up our time, isn't it? I'm just not noticing the time that it's given me back, if I'm perfectly honest. I feel like my days are still full. So 2 generations ago, we had the foundations, and then I always explain it as a Jenga block. which I do demonstrate in my workshops. It's really scary trying to pull those blocks out without toppling the whole thing. The pressure's intense, I tell you. But you literally start off with quite a stable Jenga tower that you can kind of poke and prod and move. You don't want to do too much, but it's there. But then we take blocks out. So we take blocks out for the work used to be work, and rest used to be rest, and we weren't switched on to the entire world. You know, we could both just pull out our phones now and we'd know every bad thing that's going on in every country right now if we looked hard enough. We don't have the capacity for that anymore. So you kind of take this out and end up with this really, really wobbly tower with lots of gaps. And then, so we talk through that and people get that, all right, I get it, in terms of what we do next. And then we talk about, so what have you tried? And of course there's these initiatives that come up and they're brilliant. I have nothing against a wellbeing initiative at all, except we layer them on top of this incredibly wobbly Jenga tower of wellbeing foundations and human capacity foundations, and then we wonder why it just makes the whole tower wobble even more. So we start out with things that actually can be incredibly good, but they have to go in the right place.
Yeah, because the foundations aren't stable enough to sustain it.
Generally, no, not at all.
I've heard of in corporate yoga classes, mindfulness apps, people coming in, but one mental health day does not solve everybody's burnout, overwork, their work capacity, workloads, the pressures. We need more of that to be ingrained as a solid, stable structure in and of itself in the workplace, right? Because these initiatives, they can't compensate for unhealthy systems.
No.
We can't just have, it can't be a ratio of like 99 to 1, 99 bad to 1, you always say bad, 99 of one very intense thing at work to one good thing.
Yes. Yeah. So the worst I've heard of is a workplace put a massage chair in the office so that when things got too bad, they could just go and pop themselves over for 10 minutes, sort themselves out and get back to it. Literally the worst wellbeing initiative I've heard of.
On those like vibrating chair?
Yeah, because that was going to solve it apparently. But you're absolutely right. Wellbeing day, who doesn't love an extra day off? Of course, we all love an extra day off. So wellbeing day is great, and you walk away and you feel good for the day. Yeah. But I always go though, what changes on Monday? Yeah. What changes? You come back into the workplace, you're feeling a bit, and how long does it take? I used to remember 2-3 week holidays. You come back 10 minutes, half an hour if you're lucky, and it's like it never happened.
Yes, that you never left.
Yeah, that would be the one.
Yeah, because they don't address the systemic causes of things like over ridiculously high workloads or poor communication or a lack of autonomy.
No, they don't address any of that. And there's a misconception. Is it misconception or is it a misunderstanding of human capacity? So unlike a machine that we know runs at a certain gigabytes of stuff and they do this and that and they're fixed, you try to go above that, it's done. We as humans are absolutely amazing because we have a capacity, but in an emergency we can step that capacity up. Yes. So we know that we have, teams of people, if there's an emergency, can work for days without sleep. It's absolutely incredible. If there's something going on, if there's a friend in need, you'll do a full day's work and you've already been on the go 14 hours and still you're around there, you're sorting it out, you're helping, you're supporting. So we know as humans we can step up. The problem is we're designed to step up to deal with the emergency, and then we need to step back down and we need to recover. Yeah. That's the bit that's being missed. So you see, the perfect example is you've got a team of 5, somebody goes off, the 4 step up. Yes. Management go, amazing, cost saving, we've now decided that that's a team of 4, we're going to bank that, headcount, thank you very much. Yeah. What you've now got is 4 people working above capacity full time, and it's that sustained high level capacity that is causing us to push into what I'm calling modern survival mode. Yeah. So I always think of survival mode as like clinging to the edge of a rock while the waves lap up your ankles and stuff. It's not like that anymore, but it's just that constant, every day is just, you're barely surviving because your capacity is stretched so far. Yeah.
Well, I'd argue for some people that clinging to a rock is their new baseline.
Yes.
Right? Like you say, we step up into survival. We have to step back down.
Yes.
And rest and recover. People don't step down. We live our lives in that step up. And then what we try and do to be even more productive is we'll try and step up even higher. Right, and we're hanging from this rock face with just like, 2 fingers. You've seen these incredibly strong people on the internet that are just like rock climbing, like with a pinky finger or something. That's what people are trying to, I think, train themselves to do, because your productivity, your performance, we got it wrong somewhere, that becomes your value. The more you can do, the better a person you are. Yes. And that's not true.
No, we relabelled it resilience, didn't we?
We did.
We did.
Yeah.
We call it resilience. So if you're not able to work above capacity all the time, you're not resilient. So actually resilience is being able to step up when needed, back down and recover, and up when that's resilience. Yeah. Resilience is being able to do that time and time again. We've kind of got it a little bit wrong.
Yeah. So I have a stat here to show the impact that 1 in 5 employees experience mental health issues at work, but fewer than half feel supported by their employer. And I've worked with a lot of clients. A big part of my work with clients is work stress, whether it's people who work in business, own their own business, or they work in a corporate role, right? And another misconception, I think, is that employers or managers are trained to work in mental health or to understand and to spot the signs. Right, but they're not always. And I think, in fairness to them, if they've not been trained, they don't know how to do it. But it has to be part of the role. Again, this is where the systemic culture of work comes in. That we can't be a manager and overlook. When you're managing people, people are human beings. Not human doings, they're human beings. So there needs to be a level of serious training that goes into this as well, to spot the signs of when is someone burning out. Is this a fair workload capacity? Not a quick phone call of, this has come through, can you handle it? Yeah, I know it's 5 o'clock on a Friday, but I need you to do this. Right? Wouldn't it be amazing if the culture was, well, actually, you know what? It's Friday, I'll take this off and I can give it to somebody else because their workload is evened up. Right? And actually, let's just do less, or we'll do it in a sustainable way. I think is really important.
Yeah, I completely agree. And actually, the bit the managers are missing is work's getting dropped because people are going off. They are working at lower productivity levels than they would do if they were working within capacity.
Yeah,
I fluff that. But actually, they're leaving it to the individuals to work out which bits of work to drop. Yeah. And sometimes they don't even work it out. They just drop it because they literally run out of steam. Yeah. I think it would be much better if managers and leaders were able to go, so we have 200 things that need to get done. We have the workforce to do 180. Let's sit and look at the 20 that we can drop. Instead of, let's give them the 200 and see which ones break them.
Yes.
Yeah, to me, that's the manager's leader's role, to actually sit and go, we need to put your big boy pants on and you need to come to the table and work out what that looks like.
Yeah. And actually, I wonder if this is my hot take for this episode, is that mental health in the workplace isn't a wellbeing issue, it's a leadership issue.
So I call it my wellbeing tree, because we love trees. So I always draw with the roots at the bottom of being outlook, body and connection. Yeah. And then the leaves being the productivity and the creativity, and isn't that lovely? The trunk is always leadership. Yeah. It's absolutely the thing that holds it all up.
Yeah. And leadership isn't people being perfect, but it's stepping up when conversations need to be had to feel confident enough to be able to say, you know what, something's got to change here. How can I help you?
Yes.
Right, staying calm. Okay, that's all right. Something hit the fan. Don't worry about it. But what do you need from me? How can I help you? How can I support you? As an integral, talking to the employee, but as an integral part of this business. What is it that you need that I can support you with?
Yeah, there seems to be, I've noticed, a shift from to be a manager was a job in its own right, and then we can't call them leaders, more than managers now. Yeah. But actually managing people is an incredible skill. Yeah. To be able to sit and to notice and to work out what people are really good at and match the jobs and then be with them in a room is so important, because you pick up the vibe of, is someone okay? Are they not looking right? Is there something off with them? I think the online world has definitely taken away some of that ability to instinctively know. You can't write it in a process, can you?
No.
I can't process out how you're going to spot this thing, but I'm going to sit in this room and I'm going to know that you're not right, and we need to chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think when organisations get this right, not only do they reduce burnout, but there is an element of creativity that gets unlocked. Right? That element of creativity gets unlocked where you're not just working through that survival mode, but you have the space to sit and think, right, we want to create this amazing thing, get everybody in a room together. Let's all hit the drawing board. Right, that was where the phrase came from. We're all going to just sit together, see what comes out of this incredible melting pot of different creativities and mindsets and views on things.
Yeah.
Right, this is, and I think this is where big tech corps in Silicon Valley in the States, there's something to be said, but what I will say is that they do something really good in their employee well-being, right? Nap pods, free food and drink.
Yep.
It's so comfortable for their employees because they know that it's important, that people feel cared for and kept, and it's sustainable as a practice.
Absolutely. Well, you'll know. I'm the same. If I'm sitting and I'm not working on something, when's the time that answer comes?
Yeah.
It's not when you're sitting there pushing for the answer. It's when I've gone to the gym. It's when I'm in the shower. It's when I'm walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
It's when your brain is just ticking away really quietly. Nothing, just enough to distract it in front of it, but there's this bit at the back where the creativity goes, look, and it makes all the connections.
Yeah.
If you're every day overloaded by produce, no downtime, no rest time, there's never that chance for that part of the brain. But it's the hidden cost, isn't it? It's unknown, because we can look at burnout costs, and I've seen £97 million or whatever it is that we're busting through every year, and you can say attrition rates, or we can put a figure on that, and you can do, right, our productivity seems to be down, our profits down. We can put figures on all that stuff. Can't put a figure on creativity because you just don't know what would happen. So for me, that is the real hidden gem in all of this. You go after attrition and productivity and stuff, and you come out with creativity.
Absolutely. And as you were saying that, I was thinking about how many of my bright ideas, these amazing ideas I've had for my business have come from when I'm taking Nana for a walk. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm wanting to walk thinking, where's my notebook? I need to write these down. And I leave my phone at home because I don't want to be disturbed. I want us to do a solid, hour walk. And then I'm thinking, oh, yeah, this is amazing. And like you say, it unlocks something. There is an energy that comes from being able to step away, see the bigger picture. And the mind's an incredible thing. It doesn't need more productivity. It doesn't need to be doing more. It needs to be stepping back and allowing it to do its thing, right? We're not machines. We're not built for this level of productivity, but creating things. And how many incredible things have come from creative processes where people have stepped back, right? We call them artists now, and we don't give them enough credit.
Absolutely.
Right? It's a dying, artist, creativity, we don't need it. But AI, tech, we need all of this stuff. We need to be building more, doing more, right? Instead of stepping back and being able to give us the space we deserve to create something important and something sustainable as well.
Absolutely. Well, all this tech is programmed by us. So if we haven't got the creativity to program it to tell it what to do, then it can't come up with stuff on its own. It's limited by that, whereas we're not actually limited by that. We're kind of unlimited. We might not be able to process data at the same speed, but we can absolutely come left field, right field, any which way, look at a problem a different way, have a moment of hindsight, be someone in the back of your brain goes, oh, that's what I was looking at the other day, and now they've just said that, I can see that from this different. We're amazing in some things, and we need to be left to do those amazing things. Absolutely. That space is just so important. It's so important for a lot of things. After my baby had open heart surgery, I held the grief for 3 months after, until he was big enough, well enough, able to go into the creche at the gym. And it was, I walked into the gym and I got on the walking machine, and just the floods of tears. Floods. For 3 months I'd held it, and it was, I had space, I had time, and I had, in the middle of the gym. It's not a great place to do it, but that was when my brain was able to process it. So those moments of space, creativity for processing, for all the things we need to do, are so important.
Absolutely. And as you say that, I'm thinking about some people who perhaps that space away can feel unsafe, because the question might be, especially for people who are very capable, very good at getting things done, if they step back and say, I can hear, people that I've worked with and recognize that, that, well, what happens if I take a step back? What's going to happen to me? Because it's not driven by productivity anymore. There's no outpour. I have nothing to show for who I am as a person. Right? Like we said in the beginning, your identity, well, who am I then?
Yeah.
But you get to be you.
Yes.
And you get to honour that journey of what does that look like? Who are you really? Underneath the performing, the perfectionism, the people pleasing, those horrible 3 Ps, right, that we all try and nail ourselves to that cross. We get to, like you say, go on this incredible journey of exploring ourselves, our creativity, and what that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're unique. We're absolutely unique. Yeah. So at the end of life, what is the point of being here if you're not exploring who you are and being who you are and bringing that out there to the table? This is humanity. It's great. We've got this opportunity, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're absolutely right about capable people. Generally, you'll find that the people that do burn out are the most capable. Because they're the ones that are noticing something needs doing. They're the ones that are noticing that something's been dropped. They're the ones that are looking and going, oh, if I just did that. And they're stepping up and stepping up and stepping up and stepping up and stepping up. Whereas someone who maybe isn't quite as capable, isn't noticing or isn't feeling the need. So you find actually the people who are burning out get kind of stuck in this capability trap where just because they can, they do. Yeah. Oh, just one more thing. Let me just do this one. Just one more thing. I know that phrase. Yeah. I'm embarrassed I can't even tell you how many times I've said, just one more thing. Let me just I'll just tweak this one thing. Let me just write this down. Yeah. It's still going to be there. Yeah. It's the workload will never end. No, of course not. The list will keep growing. Yep. I will get rid of one thing, something else, 2 more things will come on the list. And the key is stepping away from that. Yes. To have this healthy work-life balance. Yeah. All right. Because the cost of it, turnover, disengagement, lack of productivity is huge. Oh, it's massive and it's growing. Yeah. And it's growing because everywhere you look now, employers are putting lovely posts. I see loads of posts on LinkedIn about the days they've had and the events they've run and the initiatives and people love it in the moment and then they go back to the normal workplace. But employers are clearly seeing the issues and they're trying to fix it. Yeah. I think, or they're tick boxing depending on which survey you look at. But they're trying to fix it. They know it's an issue. They can see it's an issue. They can see the figures. Yeah. But they're not actually coming at it the right way. No. And even with these mental health days off or retreats or whatever it might be, the work, I remember when I was in corporate law, that I remember thinking, oh great, we've got this team building day, but my workload's not going down. Nope. I'd rather have less workload and no team building than team building, and because you can't be a team with people when you don't see them because you locked yourself in the office for 14 hours a day trying to get through all your client stuff, and then your billing and your performance is monitored in that way. Yeah, and it's actually got worse than that. So dealing with companies, there are some companies that are brilliant, they've stepped up and they have wellbeing managers, great. And there are some companies that don't want to go down that route, so they offer their employees an opportunity to take on a wellbeing role in addition to what they're already doing. Right. For no remuneration, for no days off, for no added benefits? No. Yeah. No. They're just allowed to take it up, and they do take it up because it's something that's very close to their heart. Yeah. And to start with, I'm sure that the buzz they get back from doing that stuff, as we all know, you feed your soul, you get the energy, it makes you feel amazing. The human element of creativity and connection, that passion, is what drives us. Yeah. And empowerment, because they're able to come out and actually do something in that space that's clearly been draining them. But again, that can only go on for so long. That can't be the long-term answer. Yeah. So I think we'll find that quite a lot of wellbeing people are actually going to find themselves burning out. Because it needs to be a separate role. Of course it does. It's another workload. Yeah. Wellbeing for me kind of sits alongside HR. So HR is about creating the boxes and then matching the right people to the boxes. Wellbeing is about looking after the names in the box. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because at this point, that sustainability will be the superficiality of it all. Try that again.
Superficiality, is that a word?
I don't know. my brain just went, I heard the words, but I don't know what that meant.
Okay. So at this point, sustainability in the workplace will be how superficial it looks in this tick box exercise, because the short-term perks can't outweigh the long-term outcomes.
No, absolutely not. So one small but targeted move to create sustainability will outweigh 100 wellbeing initiatives. Absolutely. One small thing, even if it's just go home on time, even if it's just we're going to definitely break and we're going to ask you what's wrong if you're still sitting at your desk working during a lunch break. And even if it's just those tiny things, I often find working with people, it's the nudges that just nudge that sustainability, that capacity, something that's possible to do regularly and often and every day, and everyone gets on board with. It just creates just a little bit of space. It doesn't take much. As humans are incredible. Just release that pressure a tiny bit and we've got room to breathe again.
Absolutely. Because mental health literacy is everybody's responsibility. It's not just for HR managers, but it needs to be a mindset that's embedded within the company. So like you have your finance department and you have your tech division, and you need to then also have, like, you have your physical first aid, you need your mental health, your well-being pillar that's going to hold up the foundations of that company as well. And I'm a small business owner, you are as well. Why would we not want that? I know that if I had employees, I would want to make sure that being a therapist, I'm 100% obligated in that way anyway, that even if I didn't work in the mental health field, right, and health and well-being field, I would still want my employees to feel this sense of, you know what, she gets me, she understands, I can take this time off and not feel guilty for it, and know that I'm fully supported. Because that's what we want, to feel supported, to feel acknowledged for the work that we've done, not for the output, but I'm a valuable asset to this company for being me, for my creativity, for how I see things. Absolutely, because that goes back to the three cores of, that's connection, isn't it? That's your outlook. You get praised and you go, oh, okay, I might actually be good then. They've just said I'm good, I might be good. Reframes the whole way. You get that connection, someone notices you. It's amazing. It builds you up. Dopamine hit right there and then. Oh, absolutely. There's nothing like it, is there? So and you want a bit more of that then. But that's actually it's kind of the meaning of life, isn't it? That feeling of validation, of being here, of being worthwhile and being seen. It's completely the reason for it. So if you want to enforce that capacity, if you want to get the best out of people, if you want the productivity and the creativity, then you have to go in and do that human bit. Absolutely. And I think it is, like you say, it's human, it's foundational to who we are. We want that. Why would I say why would we not, but then I'm also reminding myself that that's how we've worked for decades. It did get to the point, and I don't know if it's moved on too much, that actually being human is seen as a weakness. Okay. But actually we're humans. The whole point of having a business is because of humans. We sell to humans, we make it by humans, everything is human. So to them go, the core foundation of the business is just going to be put to one side as meaningless is an interesting place to be. And it's kind of, the whole thing was, well, we'll take all the productivity, we want all the good stuff, but the balancing side of it, we don't want that, so you're just going to need to leave that somewhere else. It's an interesting concept, because the whole person walks into the workplace, the whole person turns up, it's the whole person who delivers or not. And there is a huge benefit in employers changing the way they see things, right? Wouldn't it be amazing that employees applied for a role as a candidate for any position that comes up and says, I want to work for them because I know their mental health is really good. I know that they have these incredible benefits to working here. It's not just the money, it's not just the salary or the time off, but it means that I get to be seen for who I am there, and they value my creativity, they value who I am. Right? Be one of those employers. Absolutely. Well, the cold hard bottom line statistics, which businesses love, already support that. We already know that attrition rises in companies that don't look after their employees. And we know that attrition's not particularly, a level's good, but a high level is not good. And we know that productivity's low, and we know that
loads of surveys show that it's the person's manager that makes the biggest difference in their life. You know, I've worked for good, bad and indifferent over the years, and the good ones, you've got that little bit of extra fire, you've got that little bit of, I want to do a really good job, because when I turn up, they're going to see me, and I'm going to feel good that I did a really good job, and then they've seen that I've done a really good job. You get that extra push, don't you? Whereas a manager who's just going to come down on you, good, bad or otherwise, why bother?
Exactly, yeah. And in fact, you don't want to do a good job then, because you know the next time you do, they're just going to throw a stack of papers at your way and say, all right, here's another workload of stuff to do, and slam it down on your desk, and off they go. Yeah.
No, about time. I expected you to finish that yesterday. Let's move on. No one's going to keep coming back for that, are they? So then you get people turning up and just going through the motions, and then the productivity goes. You've got zero chance of creativity at that point.
I had a client a few months ago, and she went for a new job, and she was really excited for it. And the first day, there was no induction process. She just got chucked in the deep end. Okay. She was clear there was one day a week she couldn't work because she was volunteering, and she made that really clear. In the interview, they were like, yeah, don't worry about it, it's fine. Like, great, you volunteer. They had it nowhere on their records that she volunteered. So when she didn't turn up on that day, they sent her a barrage of awful messages and voicemails. Why are you not here? You should be working. And when she reminded them, and they said, oh, okay, fine, but you need to make up your hours at night then. And expected her to work from like 8 to the early hours, and we had a conversation about it, and ultimately she left right within the week, because she didn't want that for herself. And then I was thinking about the values of that company, but employees don't want that for themselves. People are waking up to being able to pick and choose what they want to do for work, their creativity, their output. And there aren't going to be people left to do those in those roles. Employers can't fill those places if nobody wants to be in there. Things have to change.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, things have to change. They have to change. No question. Because it's been 2 generations and we've removed everything. We've tried to take humanity out of the workplace. We're trying to pretend AI is going to be able to replace the human brain, the human soul, the human gut, the human everything that we bring to the workplace. And actually this new AI layer of faster, quicker, more efficient that's coming in is hitting a workforce which is critical to holding up these AI systems. Yeah. You can't have AI running a business sat there in entirety on its own, doing its own thing. We still need the workforce around it. Yeah. But this workforce now is at breaking point. We've got a design crisis in the workplace that literally more and more people are at breaking point, and some of them are being quiet, some of them are having to pull their hands up, but it's there everywhere you look. You can see it in people's faces, because actually it's not just the workplace, is it? Outside of work has also accelerated, and the foundations have been removed. So we've got people who are now on the edge, and we're going to ask them to be faster and quicker and remove even more of those things, those bricks in that Jenga thing, and it's gonna fall.
And we're at a critical point now where it's sort of that last of that generation, if you like. We need to pull things back, because if it keeps going that way, as a society, people are going to be more, this work from home culture is wonderful, but it's also very isolating. We cannot keep heading down that road. People aren't going to have any kind of connection. They're not going to know how to... I know some young people who don't know how to hold a conversation because they grew up in an era where everything was smartphone. This, smartphone, that. Yep. And we need to, as a society, pull this back for the longevity of community, of understanding each other, of being human.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, no, completely
question.
No, I don't think there's any question at all. And I think you're right. We still remember what it was like to walk into a workplace and sit and chat and converse. And, team meetings were seen as a really important part of the day. I'm of the ilk and era of Friday afternoons in the pub with the team, which was frowned upon and that was outlawed. But actually that Friday afternoon was a really important part of the week, where we'd all take a big sigh of relief and we'd breathe and we'd connect and we'd rip each other apart and laugh at each other, and we'd do all of that good stuff and finish the week off, and we'd be ready for Monday, and we'd then work really hard because we were in the right space, and we'd been fulfilled and seen and recognised, and that thing got saw as a bad thing. It was bad for productivity. You should be sitting producing work all the time. So what you end up with was lower productivity, but over a longer period of time instead of very high productivity with a recovery period.
Yes, these like interval sprints, if you like, is the way it should be.
Absolutely, and that matches our biological way. You know, let's be serious, deep down, we're still cavemen. We're still actually designed to hunt for food, eat and rest. Yeah. And our body works on nice, predictable cycles like that, where we step up, we get the reward, we rest, and we do it again. Yeah. So it wrongly got seen as reducing productivity instead of actually for the thing that it was, which was increasing productivity, yes, over a shorter period of time, but actually you still got more out. Yeah, yeah.
So the World Health Organization, the WHO, did a study, and they estimate that for every £1, just £1 invested in mental health support at work, employers will see a £4 improved productivity in health outcomes.
Yeah.
1 for 4.
Yeah.
That's an incredibly low ratio, but it's also a very simple one, and it begs the question, why is this not being implemented more and more and more? Why do we need one mental health day a year? What would that look like if we implemented even like the working week? Which is a whole different other conversation. But if we did like a 3 or 4 day working week, right, it would change things. I remember when I think the paper came out a few years ago, the bill about whether this should be considered.
Yes.
Everybody was so happy across the nation. Everybody could not, oh my gosh, yeah, we get a full way. That alone, there was so much hype, there was so much excitement about it. You don't need a vote to see whether that's going to be accepted or not. You could tell by the reaction of people, you know what, this is what is needed. Give the people what they need, because it is important. If it's going to make us happier, we're going to be more productive. We look at countries like, is it Denmark, Norway, the Scandinavian countries, they have I think 4-day working week, some of them. Their productivity is incredible.
Yeah.
Right, and more countries are doing this, but it needs to be implemented across the board. And I think this is my plea from small business owner to small business owner. Try something like that. Why not? See what happens.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm just going to turn them on. Sorry, so you're going to have to wait. Can't be an emergency.
Try it. See what happens.
Yes.
Right? Be the company. Be the business owner that gets to say, no, we do a 4-day working week. That's it. You get a 3-day weekend as standard. That's pretty awesome. I would work for that company.
Yeah, but it's back to putting your big boy pants on, isn't it?
Or big girl pants.
Big girl pants. Yeah, well, you know, I don't know why I go boy. I always do. Yeah, it's better to be your big grown up pants on then, isn't it? It's about taking a risk.
Yeah.
And seeing what happens.
Be
and
that
it
change.
Might go wrong is the thing, and
Right.
they're sitting there thinking that it might go wrong, because it's we always go after the tangibles, don't they?
Yeah.
I remember going through a period of time where they needed to reduce costs, so you could only get a new pencil if you took the stub of your current pencil to the stationery office and showed them how small it was, because it's tangible and you can sit and go, look, I made cost savings. We're not wasting money on stationery anymore.
Right.
Because people are they always go after the low-hanging fruit, don't they?
Yeah.
The problem is the low-hanging fruit doesn't necessarily get you
It's
the
not the best
foundations of
quality
the fruit. It's not the best quality. It also doesn't set you up for next season. It doesn't see you through the winter.
Yeah.
It's a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And I see time and time again, when it comes to people, humans, they go after the low-hanging fruit and the stuff that's very visible and they can stand and go, look, fruit, we've got it, we've done it, ticked box.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's exactly the same reason. Comms was my last role before I left corporate role, that everyone sent emails. I tried my hardest to go, oh, actually you might want to go and talk to people because you want them to action this. Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
No. Or go, revolutionary, we're still in offices at this time. So it's like, just go and pop in and say to them, or could I join your team meeting for 5 minutes and just talk you through, because I'd really like you to do X. Yeah. And I know I'll just send an email.
Or
and
an
the reason,
we'll just do it as a quick Teams nudge or whatever it is. Right?
Yeah.
They're sat over there, rather than getting up. I'm just gonna. Sometimes fine, I get it, but like you say, there's a risk, sure, but take that risk. There's a fear. What if it fails? But what if it doesn't? What if you get to be that change in the industry and it starts off small?
But I think it kind of circles back to, it's about being able to prove and ask covering if I'm perfectly honest. So the reason why everyone wanted to send an email was because they can say when the thing didn't happen that they wanted people to do and it all went wrong, that person sent an email. The system said it went to 3,000 people. Yeah. Only 1,000 people read it. That's not my problem. If they choose to not read the information I've sent them, literally we're walking away. And that's kind of the thing with wellbeing, isn't it? We're back to tick boxing. We're just going to tick box. Yeah. Because we've tick boxed and we can show it. We can put a lovely LinkedIn post up going, look at what we've done, and isn't it amazing? We've just all had a wellbeing day. Yeah. Great.
It's funny because the amount of other corporates I used to meet when I worked in corporate, and I say, oh, you had this like amazing retreat day, or this new thing came out, and they're like, oh, we didn't know about it, and vice versa. I'd be told like, oh wow, like, you know, this London Borough of wherever is doing this incredible thing. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm too busy in court hearings trying to get cases done to know actually what's going on the ground, right? But you can't. I'm going to just say, you can't SWOT analysis your way out of emotions. No. You can look at the risks, you can look at the finances, blah blah blah. But the most important thing is that if your employees are happy and they want to work in this company, that gives you all the information that you need. You just need one survey that says, yeah, 100%, we're happy to do our 30 hours in 4 days rather than the 5.
Yes.
Right? Ultimately, that's the culture that we want to breed. That is that's the direction that we want to head into.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it would make way more sense, wouldn't it? You do the 30, you've got lots of rest, lots of recovery.
Reduce turnover, you can increase costs, and, you know, it's always better to retain than recruit, we know this.
Absolutely.
Right? Higher performance, more innovation, more creativity, like we say. Happier workload, happier staff.
Yep. Able to spend that time outside of those 30 hours, getting that connection established with the right people.
Yeah, you attract more talent because you've got a company that people want to work for. Yep. You're not just having to employ anybody, even if you know that they don't want the role. You get to pick and choose the best minds in the industry for this. Even if you're a small business, you get to it opens up doors. Yeah. Just because you're a small business doesn't mean that you can't go for bigger people. They might want to be, you know, these experts in the industry, they might want to go back to start working for a small business because it means they can expand and grow and it fills their cup as well. But if we don't have these conversations, if we don't open up these spaces, it's not going to work. No one's going to see what needs to be uncovered.
No, and I wonder whether part of the problem is they don't have the time because they're over capacity themselves. Yeah. So how do we release the leaders in some of these companies to have the time to sit down and look at what's going on without their phones going on for 2 minutes, without it beeping with emails because everyone wants to send them to get the read receipt, the phone calls, the text messages, how do we give them that space so that they can actually sit and look and work out, well, what would that look like?
Well, something I've started doing and working on is a project whereby working with small businesses, going in and saying what needs to be changed here. What do your employees want? How can we expand that capacity, like we say, that internal capacity? Yep. How can we make them happier? Because it's difficult. I understand when you're in the midst of it all, you might need a fresh pair of eyes to come in and say what's working, what's not, what do the people need?
Well, just like everything's got its own skill, doesn't it? Yeah. So, you know, if you're running your car, I don't know how to run my car. I take it to a mechanic because I could open that bonnet and stand there and stare and scratch my head all day. I'm not actually going to fix anything in there because I don't know anything about it. And yet somehow we all think that just knowing how humans work, even though most people don't even understand how they work, let alone anyone else. Interesting, isn't it? That we'll just be able to manage it. So of course it makes sense to get in external people.
Absolutely. Fresh pair of eyes.
Who know what they're doing and have, you know, models. I use my 3x3 framework as a diagnostic tool and run surveys off it so that instead of splattering wellbeing initiatives over the top of a crappy framework, actually what we do is identify the first place to start. You only need the first place. Start with the first place. Put a couple of things in. Watch this capacity rise. Brilliant. Let's go again. Put it in, watch the capacity rise. You need someone who knows what they're doing instead of people who sit around and go, right, I've got 10 minutes, we've got to do something in this wellbeing space quickly. Mental health, right, I've heard of mental health, first aiders, we stick one of those in, right, we all get, right, let's go. I've had 7 emails and 3 phone calls, I need to go.
And rather than employees opening the email thinking, oh, flipping it, not another wellbeing email, but instead of, oh my gosh, Friday, we get to take, have you heard, we get Friday off, amazing. Or we're going to do this group thing together, and we still get paid for it, and our workload isn't going to increase, right? We get support. Get an expert in to support with this, because it's difficult being in the trenches. I totally get it, but it's going to change. You've got to be the change that you want to see in there.
Absolutely. And we actually all know this, because your social media feed will be full of adverts, just like mine. We do love them. Do love those algorithms. And there'll be people on there going, I've done this and it's changed my life. So, you know, say I don't know, meditation. So someone's done meditation and it's absolutely changed their life. And you go, I want to change my life, because you've seen the outcome. You go, well, I really want the outcome. They've used that to get the outcome. Well, I'm going to try meditation. Okay, brilliant. And it doesn't work for you. So then you get really grumpy at the meditation and go, the meditation doesn't work. Well, actually it does work, because we all know, anyone who's tried it knows how amazing you feel at the end of it. And obviously it worked for her friends. So we know it's not the meditation that's the problem. Using my diagnostic thing, if I found that actually what this person was suffering from was isolation, because they've just not got that connectivity out there, then meditation was never going to work. What they need is they need some structure. They need to go and find that friend friend that's going to listen to them, that friend that's going to give them that connection. So for them, meditation's not the right answer. It's connection. But unless you can sit and diagnose the issue, and you can diagnose it in the same way you can look at anything else. Once you know what you're looking for, or you can diagnose it, you can then look for the right initiative to put in its place. And it doesn't have to be life-changing. It doesn't have to be the most miraculous thing. If you right now your connection is low because you're suffering from loneliness, what you need is a really good night out with a friend, and that will instantly lift you and bring you back in a way that journaling and all the other good well-being things we know about just won't do.
It's finding the right thing that needs to fill that gap. Right? Because being seen, being valued, it will increase employee loyalty. Of course it will. People will say, I'm happy to work here because I know that if I have a problem, it's going to get solved. Someone's going to help me through this. I'm not going to be seen as a liability. I'm not going to be seen as that person who's got another sick day, or she's got another problem. Right? We want to be valued and seen for who we are, not just what we put out there.
Yeah, of course. And in the workplace, what's happening is DE&I is saying that it's the meditation that needs to be offered to everyone. And we've just talked about the fact that meditation will work for some but not for others. But they're focusing on, well, we'll just put, I'm using meditation, it can be absolutely anything in that space, and then we've ticked the wellbeing box. They need to take a step back and go, what we need to be offering to people is something that fits the issue that they're currently looking at. So they need to know the biggest issue they've got in their organisation right now. Is it people's outlook? Is it they're not looking after themselves? Are they just absolutely exhausted? What's the thing? And then you look at that, and then you can move, because you can move really structured at that point. You can tick boxes at that point and go, right, we've done something in that space and we've noticed a difference. What's the next big space? Okay, let's go and do something in that space, and then let's get right, okay, we seem to have got a bit more capacity back in that. Right, what's next? You can work through it in a really calm and logical way and pull in the right things. But at the moment, what they're doing is ticking boxes by putting the initiative in and assuming it'll fix everyone.
And that having a real program will give a tangible impact, right? That's where your stats come in. Is, we had no program before. Employees were giving us 10, 15, 20% at the most. They weren't happy with this, that, and the other. We put this program in. We had somebody to come in. And it's not that everything has to be geared up bespokely for every single employee. They don't need their own program.
No.
But it's enough that they're going to feel valued and seen, and it's going to make that tangible difference. So then you can say, well, after 3 months, we tried this. Productivity went up 98%. We got employee satisfaction went up 125%. We got this, and this, and we're hitting really high figures that are sustainable because we keep building on those practices. Going back to the beginning of the conversation, those foundations that we need, they become solid. We start building proper structures that are sustainable, that we carry through, and it will change everything. I've no doubt about it.
Yeah, of course it will.
But we have to start somewhere.
Yes, we have to start somewhere. We absolutely have to start somewhere. And yes, when you start in the right place, And when you put the right things in place, yes, we'll run the surveys. Of course, I always recommend, wellbeing is a shifting thing, isn't it? Changes, the environment changes, the world changes. You have to keep checking in and seeing where your weakness, where your thin spots are.
But make the outcome...
off my chain of thoughts.
But make the outcomes measured.
Yes.
Don't just say we did it categorically. Say we did it. This was the before, this was the after.
This was before, this was the after. I love it. But actually, do you know what? You won't even need the surveys, because you'll walk in and you'll feel it.
Feel the energy.
You'll just feel it.
Yeah.
You'll just know it's there.
Yeah.
So definitely have the data to back it up, because we love data and we need data.
Especially as business owners, accountants,
business
HR,
owners. We need to look and have that validation and know for sure, but it'll be more than that.
Yeah. Amazing, Jo. This has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you.
No, thank you for inviting me on.
Of course. I have one last question for you. Your question can be a question itself. It can be a comment, something to leave our listeners with, something that is going to maybe give them a perspective shift, something that they can take away, think on, ponder.
Yeah, so the thing that I think I'd love people to take away is that wellbeing is not a personal failure. It's not a personality trait. It's not something that can be fixed at that high, superficial, individual level. That businesses and people alike need to start really understanding that what's going on is the infrastructure, the systems, the processes, the flow that goes on. Then that creates the wellbeing as an outcome. Once you can get your head around that, everything becomes really simple.
Yeah. Amazing. And this is something that both Jo and I can assist with. We have our own frameworks, but we are here for employees as individuals. We are also here for employers as well, to help bring in that structure, that framework, to be able to see where are your employees not so happy, where are you perhaps leaking some of this energy, this vitality in the workforce that's required. I will leave our details in the show notes below. Jo, thank you once again for coming on. It's been lovely speaking with you. Thanks.
Thank you.